The survivors, along with Murray, were part of a 20-plus stop bus tour called Just Majority, featuring a coalition of advocacy groups, all of them wanting the Supreme Court reformed.
We are urging Congress to expand the court and instill some ethical standards for them.
So let's understand this. We don't like that the Supreme Court is following the Constitution as is written, and we want to overload the court with more people to get the decisions that we want. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms for your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And if you like my channel, like my content, you can support me with the link in the description box. Everything is appreciated. But let's talk about this. There is a gathering of anti-gun groups, and specifically gun control groups here in Connecticut, who are now advocating that the Supreme Court be reformed. And when they say reformed, they mean they want the Supreme Court packed. Specifically now, while Biden's in office, so that they can have a majority in the Supreme Court that will then, they claim, or potentially give out rulings that fit their mindset. Yes, that's about as asinine as I've ever heard. And once again, in a few videos I've said that the leftists, anti-guns, whatever, are all panicking over the Bruen decision. And this is just another one of those panic moves that they're trying to do. Now, you saw part of the video, and I want to go ahead and play the rest of it just so you can understand where these people are coming from, because it's unbelievable. But let's go ahead and watch.
Sandy Hook survivors and gun control advocates are hitting the road calling for change. They're traveling across the country sharing their frustration with recent Supreme Court decisions. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen has the story from Newtown.
Newtown was the second stop of the Just Majority bus tour, where survivors of the Sandy Hook shooting and gun control advocates want changes in the Supreme Court. But a gun rights group in Connecticut says there can't be calls for change just because someone doesn't like the way the courts ruled.
It shouldn't be this hard. It should be really easy for the federal government, including the Supreme Court, to protect our kids and families.
More than a decade of frustration for Poe Murray, who wants to see significant gun control legislation happen at the federal level. The Sandy Hook shooting left scars on her and her community. For some shooting survivors, now seniors in high school, their anger is focused on the Supreme Court. They're frustrated over recent decisions on guns, including a case last year that overturned New York's gun permitting laws.
The Supreme Court has taken away rights we counted on for decades. And it's giving guns more rights than kids.
We need to reform the Supreme Court. We need term limits.
The survivors, along with Murray, were part of a 20-plus stop bus tour called Just Majority, featuring a coalition of advocacy groups, all of them wanting the Supreme Court reformed.
We are urging Congress to expand the court and instill some ethical standards for them.
Holly Sullivan, president of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League, disagrees with the calls for change. She says her group has lost many court cases advocating for gun owners, but never blamed any judges or justices.
We have cases that are mooted. We have cases that are dismissed. We don't always agree with the decision. However, we do have the utmost respect for the judicial process.
She says the Supreme Court justices have the authority to make final decisions on whether a law is constitutional, including that New York case.
There is a very good reason why they made the ruling that they did. It is detailed. It's a very complicated decision.
Murray says she's tired of waiting for action on gun violence.
Hopefully it won't take another horrific tragedy like Sandy Hook or Uvalde, Highland Park, Buffalo, for that change to occur.
The next stop for the Just Majority bus tour will be tomorrow in Montpelier, Vermont.
Heard that and you saw that. It's oof. You're unbelievable. The arrogance. We don't like the decisions that are coming out of the Supreme Court. How dare they do these things that we personally don't agree with? Screw the fact that if it's constitutional or not, we just don't like the outcome. So now we want the court packed so we can get what we want. Damn. Oh, man. But I'm going to come over here because, and this is local affiliates, NBC Connecticut, but Connecticut gun control group advocates call for Supreme Court reform. Many advocates are frustrated over recent Supreme Court decisions on guns. We aren't getting what we want. Wah. It's unbelievable. Screw the fact that it's constitutional on that. That's not important. No. We just don't like the decision. But a number of Sandy Hook shooting survivors and state gun control advocates are joining a coalition of groups wanting to see changes to the nation's highest court. Quote, it shouldn't be this hard. It should be really easy for the federal government, including the Supreme Court, to protect our kids and families. President of Newtown Action Alliance, P.A.N. Murray said. Yeah, these are the same people who support abortion. Protect kids. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's women's health care. I'm sorry, reproductive rights. That's different. Yeah. Oh, they put forward a bill to put armed guards in schools. Democrats voted against it across the board. So Paul Murray needs to go talk to his little leftist buddies there about that. But more than a decade of frustration for Murray, who wants to see significant gun control legislation happen at the federal level. The Sandy Hook shooting left scars on her and her community. The stabbing of Marion Sanchez left a scar on the community. The Pettit family assault left a scar on the community, but they weren't killed by an assault rifle, so Poe here doesn't give a damn about them. Okay? This is how this is working. This is the mentality of these people. Okay? Gun control legislation is not going to protect anyone. Anyone with any damn sense knows this. But it's not about protecting nobody. This is about gun control. These people are fools. Because they have gun control now, and every time something happens, they say, oh, we need to do more. Then something happens, oh, we need to do more. Then something happens, and we need to do more, because they're never, ever, ever going to address the root cause of these things, ever. They will never address it because, God forbid, they actually do something that will actually affect change. But for some shooting survivors, now seniors in high school, their anger is focused on the Supreme Court. They're frustrated over recent decisions on guns, including a case last year that overturned New York's gun permitting laws. Let's understand, they're upset at the Supreme Court for saying that law-abiding people who go through the process should not be regulated to an extreme level where they cannot purchase a firearm. This is what they're upset about. Law-abiding people getting a gun. This is what they're mad about, because that's what the Bruen decision is about. They're not talking about the criminals here. They're just talking about good people who want to buy guns who don't think that New York's laws were fair. And the Supreme Court agreed with them, so they're upset about it. The Supreme Court has taken away rights we have counted on for decades and is giving more rights to guns than kids. Serena Orokium, a Sandy Hook shooting survivor, said, I love how they call it survivor. Back when I was in the Marines, I want to talk about that. This whole survivor aspect. They called David Hogg a survivor of Parkland when he was hiding in a freaking closet. Look, I don't consider people who were at an event or present for an event or in the vicinity of an event survivor of it. Okay, sorry. As I was saying, when I was a Marine, we had the barracks bombing at the airport in Beirut, Lebanon. I'll never forget that day. I was not a survivor of it. Okay, I wasn't a survivor of it. I wasn't there, but it damn sure affected me. But every time it was a truck bomb that was IED that was driven through the gates and detonated at the barracks and killed a whole lot of people. And damn, I remember that day. I remember I'm still there. I've never seen. It's unbelievable. And we had to hear this back in the States, and what a day that was. But I'm not a survivor of it. I don't twitch every time a truck drives by. Okay? I hate this term, shooting survivor. You weren't there. Unless you were actually shot and you lived through the wound, okay, you're a survivor of the shooting. But just because you were there doesn't make you a survivor. I hate that. But the survivors, along with Murray, were part of a 20-plus stop bus tour called Just Majority, featuring a coalition of advocacy groups. All of them want the Supreme Court reformed. We're urging Congress to expand the court and instill some ethical standards for them, Murray said. Oh my God. Woo! Okay. Holly Sullivan, president of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League, disagrees with the calls for change. She says her group has lost many court cases advocating for gun owners, but never blamed any judges or justices because you have common sense. Sorry, you have common sense. That's why. We have cases that are mooted. We have had cases that are dismissed. We don't always agree with the decision. However, we do have the utmost respect for the judicial process, she says, not the left. Look what happened to Roe v. Wade. As soon as the Roe v. Wade was overturned at the federal level, what did they do? They protested outside of conservative Supreme Court justice houses in violation of federal law, and even had one person with a direct threat of lethal violence against one of the Kavanaugh. So this only applies to conservatives, it does not apply to liberals. They can do anything they want. But, quote, there's a very good reason why they made the ruling that they did. It's detailed, it's a very complicated decision, Sullivan said. Murray says she's tired of waiting for action on gun violence. Well, screw you if, gun violence. Screw you if you get stabbed to death. Screw you if you have your home invaded and have your house burned down with your family in it. Screw you if you get stabbed to death in your dorm room. No, we don't care about you there. We don't care about you. But if you get shot by a gun, we're there for you. Quote, hopefully it won't take another horrific tragedy like Sandy Hook or Uvalde, Highland Park, Buffalo for that to change the course, she said. The next stop for the Just Majority bus will be Thursday in Montpelier, Vermont. Coming out of that. These people are, I don't like cussing, so I'm checking myself, okay? But these kind of people just infuriate me, okay? They're one-minded, one mindset, and it's really disturbing how they go about. Their whole mentality is so twisted. It's unbelievable. We want the court packed because we're not getting the decisions we want. Now, imagine gun groups getting together and going, we want the court packed because we're not getting the decisions we want. These people will lose their minds. But they think that they're well within their rights and morality and everything else to decide because we're not getting the decisions we want, we can demand this thing. Screw the Constitution, whether it's constitutionally legitimate or not, that's not important. We want the decisions we want. I have a word for that, but like I said, I'm trying not to cuss. I'm trying. Oh my gosh. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I will see you on the next one. Peace.